Hello and welcome to the latest edition of The Exchange, brought to you by the New York Stock Exchange. As a reminder, today's interview is for informational purposes only. The NYSE does not recommend investments or investment strategies. I'm joined live today by Will McDonough. He is the CEO and lead portfolio manager at EMG Advisors. Will, thank you for joining.
Thanks for having me, man. It's an honor to be with you.
So you've got your very first ETF. It's CHRG,
That's right.
CHRG.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about it.
CHRG is a really exciting one. You know, several years ago, my now business partner, John Raymond, approached me, and we went and talked to the White House actually about the fact that all these metals that are necessary for a green future, green energy, everything, are coming through China. They own 60% of the global supply of these metals, and it's a geopolitical issue. I then called my old team at Goldman Sachs and said, how do I go long lithium? This is like the trade of the century. And they said, well, you have to have $10 million cash on deposit to trade a futures contract. So how does this make sense? Retail investors can't invest in green energy future and in green commodities. And that day I pledged that we would launch an ETF doing that. We launched CHRG with you all at the end of the year, which was an honor. And we have lithium, nickel, cobalt, and copper futures, giving investors pure exposure to a green future.
Yeah, dig in a little bit there. So for the ETF, what is it providing to the marketplace?
So investors get purely exposure to the future price appreciation of the core commodities necessary for all green technology. So if you're driving a Tesla, if you're driving a scooter, if you're in an electric boat, if you're doing anything that leverages a battery, they all require different chemical compositions and ratios of the same commodities, right? So whether Ford wins, GM wins, Tesla wins, Rivian wins, we don't actually care because investors through us get participation in all of that future demand purely in the metals without any of the execution risk by investing in the companies.
Okay, so for the ETF, CHRG, CHRG, where does that fit in an investor's portfolio?
It's been a fun process to have those conversations because some investors think it deserves an equal weighting in an energy allocation alongside oil, gas. If you're invested in oil or gas and not copper and lithium, you aren't diversified in energy. Some people think it deserves a position as a growth technology story because the future of all of this, you know, the maturation of all these technologies are heavy battery, right? And so we have a sliver that could go into a technology portfolio. And then I have to be careful about saying about ESG, you know, that's such a punch word these days, but what's more ESG? What's more ESG than green technology exposures through the core commodities driving all of that green future?
And all wrapped in a single ETF, all wrapped on an ETF listed here. Will, for someone who's listening in, advisors, investors, and they want to learn more about CHRG, where do they go?
EMG Advisors, we do a very good job of communicating all market news. We have a great social and team that does our LinkedIn profile is really robust. We have great communication, so anyone that's interested in tracking this, even if they're not looking to invest in CHRG, if you want to follow EV, solar, wind, green, anything, emgadvisors.com and our social channels are going to be a great resource for you.
Perfect and easy to remember. And as a reminder, if you caught this episode live, but you're looking for other ETF education content, you want to learn more about CHRG, you can do it all at our website, etfcentral.com. Easy to remember, go into the search bar, type in CHRG, type in EV, you will find CHRG in there. And of course, all brought to you by the New York Stock Exchange, the home of ETFs.